Hey there, Misfits. Welcome to another snapshot where we take a look at games that are coming your way. And this one is one I was excited for when I first heard about it, and I'm still excited for it, so that says a lot. It's called Tend. It's from Ivy Studio, and it's a unique game to me because they call it a flip and write. So it's like in the roll and write kind of genre where you're marking stuff up on different pages and such as you do things. But this one, you don't roll dice like a lot of other ones. This one, you do lots and lots of different things. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll take you through the overview of everything and all the little pieces in it. And then you can see that it's a whole lot of fun when you get it all together and you play it and run with it, and you get to build your best farm on this alien planet, and you're trying to get as many points, for lack of anything, because all these are get points and get points and get points in different ways kind of games, but you're trying to get your cargo and such to the Zenith Corporation, who rewards you handsomely for your work. So that is, in a nutshell, the concept of the game. But each little way to get points is very unique into itself, and I'll tell you all about that. So the first thing is, everybody, you can play this game up to 1 million people if you had enough parts. It's got an app on the phone that can do some of this stuff to where you could even, you could have an unlimited amount of people, or you could play by yourself. And that's something I'm going to do later, but I'll show you that video coming up. But everybody takes a turn at the same time, and you get 2 turns each round. So when you do that, you look at the board here, and I'll show you a close up here. And what you do is you're going to take an action from this board here. And the bottom row are the actions that you get to do. And each action that you pick 2. And you can do them in any order. So then you write them down on your board to keep track of what you've done as you go along. So you choose what you want to do in the different areas. And then you've also got cards like these green cards here that show you, if you do the top part, you could choose. Normally it gives you an option to pick 1 or 2 of the things, and then if you have a certain condition, you can do a bonus thing on the bottom. Like, for example, this card here, that it says any fishing rod upgrade unlocked, you get to do another fishing action. So that lets you take additional actions when you upgrade some of your tools, when you make your farm better, when you do other things. You can do something else on another turn, or get bonus turns, or get bonus things like money and such, and build up everything else. So let's start by going over some of these actions. The first one is the one that the game is named after. It's tending, which is basically farming. And in this part, you get your little section of your farm right here, and you are trying to grow either plants or animals. And you've got these dice here that are different plants and animals that you can have on your farm. And as you can see, there's certain areas here. You've got to till the area with those little squiggly marks there. That is tilled land. And then the little lines over here on the left are fences. And you need to have fences all the way around any of your animals so they don't get away. And then you have to have tilled soil to plant plants. And the difference really in the game between the plants and the animals is that when the plants finally give up the last thing and you harvest them, you take the plants off your board and you have to replant. Now, an animal, that's not an animal, that's an animal. This is for the sheep, and then you'll get, once it gets around to the last turn, then you just put it back on 1. So you don't have to keep buying sheep and animals over and over again. They just keep making their stuff, like eggs or milk or anything like that. So that's how you get all those products, is every turn there's a growth phase. So when you start your turn, and you'll turn this little guy, the little dice. Let me show you a close-up here on a big old space pumpkin. But you see how there is different numbers on the side. And what we've got here is round 1, you got that 1. Then you'd grow it, and you'd move it to 2. Ta-da! See? It's like numbers. It works that way. And then on the third growth factor, You see it's white, so that means you would get a space pumpkin, and then the little X on it says, okay, take it off because it's a plant. You got to get rid of it. And then on the animals, they just show you, I'll show you here, that's the milk from the space cow, and then all you do is hit the little recycle, and then you'll go back to 1 for your space cow. So that's how it works. There's details on the board, like when you take a tend action, you can plant stuff, you can grow, get another grow phase in to make them grow faster. You can also work on, prepping the area for you to be able to get different kinds of plants in, because they require different areas of your farm, different sizes. Like you can see here, this takes up a whole lot of space. So you got to make sure that if you're going to have a space cow, that you have a whole lot of space prepared for you to give a nice living space for your little moo cow. And then that is basically, in a nutshell, the farming aspect of it. And you see how it's a unique in itself little mini game. Well, there's lots of other mini games too. Like, for example, we'll go into chopping and mining. Now, those two are very similar. They all are on these scratch-off cards. And yes, there's scratch-off cards in this game. Talk about unique. I've never seen anything like it. But what you've got is the scratch-off. It's like you're playing the lottery, but you've got the top part here is the woods, and the bottom part here is the mines. And for each action that you take in here, you just take your little scratcher, and you go over here, and you scratch a new area. Okay, so I'm scratching this spot off here, which I was already making a line through here. So you see, it's got a little chopping action. It's got that shows you that you get in a bonus action. As you follow along the path in here, you'll tend to get more extra actions. So as you see, I got an extra action, an extra woods action, so I can chop again. But it's also got this purple background behind it, which means that you go over here on the chop and you would cross off one of these and get the reward under it. And then when you do that, it helps you get more rewards. So a lot of things, just like a lot of other roll and writes and such, it's you do one thing and it could tumble onto a couple other things. So there's bonus actions for these kind of things. And so when you go out and if you upgrade your materials like your axe or your mining pick, if you upgrade those, which is over here, you would pay different resources to upgrade them, but when you upgrade them, you could get another action. Or, if you notice on the board, there's a line there. It takes 2 mining actions to go, and 2 chopping actions to go to the bottom part, and it's got better stuff on the bottom. So you would have to upgrade your tools to get the better stuff. And that all is how all this works together. Just like another end right that you get. They all kind of snowball onto each other. So that is what you basically do in each of the mining and the chopping actions. You just scratch it off, discover what's under, and then see how it all works together. And that's how the chopping and mining go. Now the third one, and now I don't have it up here, but the third thing you could do is fishing. Where, hey, anytime you want to fish, you can fish as an action because, hey, who has to work all the time? You got to fish. You got to relax. But the nice thing is that fishing here generates stuff for the farm and Zenith Corporation. So you can have a little hobby, but you're also making some money, and that's a good thing. Now, what you do is you take these dice, and you don't drop them. You roll them, and then you get a result here. And that's based on where you're fishing. Now, the first place you're fishing is the pond. That's on the board right here. And when you fish, and as I rolled a 1 and a 4, I would go to 1 and 4. And you can see right there, I would get this fish. So I would generate that fish, and then what I would do with it is I could do a lot of things. I could sell it and whatever, but I'll show you in just a second what you could do with all these resources. But that's what fishing is. And then you can upgrade your fishing pole. So as you can see, you can upgrade your fishing tackle. You can upgrade your rod or your lures. They give you extra bonuses to where you can fish. They give you extra bonuses to how many fish you can fish. So you can make it very profitable as a sports fisherman here on the planet you're trying to. I don't even remember if they gave a name for the planet, but you can name it whatever you want. I'm not going to get in the way of that. But when you fish, you get better stuff, and you can gain resources for the fish, and then you can also send them up to the Zenith Corporation for money. And that's the next thing I'm going to show you, is all of those systems, they work towards giving you products, and those products are all worth something to the Zenith Corporation. As you can see, the corporate commissary, they show you everything. There's the plant stuff for the farm. There's everything here is worth something to the Zenith Corporation. And it's up to you to send them off the planet. So what you do is right here in your cargo manifest, you will put stuff on the cargo manifest to make points in the end game. And then you can see each of these items have a different shape to them. And so you got to kind of Tetris them on the board when you're trying to put them on your cargo manifest. And that's where these cool little markers come in, because they've got little stampers on them. Let's see here. Let me show you. There's a little stamper there. And then what you do is you go and you say, okay, for example, I'm going to put this fish right here that I found on the cargo manifest. You can see the shape is 4 in a square. So I'm going to say, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're in my cargo manifest. Now there's different bonuses for different things you put in different areas. Like you can see, if I put a mining resource here in the middle, it'd be worth 2 for each one. But if I put a mining resource over here, it's worth nothing. And if I put fishing resources over here, it's worth nothing. So it's important for you to keep an eye on where you put the stuff. And also, one rule about the cargo manifest is that you can't put the same type of things next to each other. So where I have these fish here, if I were to try to put another fish kind of around it, I could not put a fish anywhere around there. So that makes Tetrising in your different stuff a little hard to do sometimes, because you'll get bonuses if you fill a row all the way across or all the way down. And sometimes even some of the achievements you get are based on where the stuff is. And I'm losing my microphone. I have to edit right there. But as you can see, as you can see in the corporate commissary, all the items have, you got different colors for things, and then you got to try to fit them in to make it fit on the ship best and get the most points at the end. And also another thing that you can do is you can work your way towards these badges here. And these badges are also things on the commissary that you can put in the spaceship to get you more points in the end. But you also get more points for having these badges anyway, because if you get 2 rows of badges, you get yourself another bonus all the way around. So there are different kinds of bonuses, like the fishing badge there. You can see it's got a 15 bonus if you do it all. And then the copper badge and iron badge and all that, sapper badge, hardwood badge. That's all for stuff that you collect that, oh, I don't know what to do with this, but hey, maybe I can work towards a badge. Or, there's a lot of different ways to get points in here. So sometimes working towards a badge gets you more points in the end than just putting it in your manifest. Or everything can be sold. As you can see on the manifest here, everything can be sold for money. So each thing has a different value, and then your money, you get to go and you can spend it on the upgrades here. You can spend it on unlocking some stuff. You can also spend it on these energy bars here. Now, energy bars are important because for 3, you get to use this twice and take an extra action twice. So let's say you were mining and you wanted to mine again, or if you don't have an upgraded equipment and you're trying to go farther south below that line, you'll be able to go down there because it takes 2 actions. So that's how you get extra bonus actions. And then, you get to unlock lots of different things. You get to unlock like these different fishing locations, which give you different fish. You get to unlock that. You can unlock the broken bridge is one of them that allows you to get the river fishing, which is better fish. If you get all the way down to the bottom of one of these, either track, you get to unlock different areas to fish. So they have better fish, so they have better stuff. Better stuff equals more points. And that's what this game's all about, is growing your different stuff to get you the most points. And sometimes it's a matter of personal preference. I like fishing, so I'm going to fish all the time. Or I like mining, and I'm going to mine all the time. You know, a lot of times in this game, you'll pick a couple that you really hit, especially because in the cargo manifest, when you see here, like if I was this player and I got this particular one, I would be doing a lot of mining, because every mining thing I put in that middle is worth 2 instead of 1. So I'm going to lean towards mining likely. And then if you lean towards mining and you do a lot of mining, well, then you're going to unlock fishing, better fishing places. So then you're going to mine and you're going to fish. And there's a whole lot of variety in this game, and a whole lot of different ways to play it, and a whole lot of different ways that, even game styles, like certain people like to do one thing over the other. Well, then you do that. Why not? It's all up to you, really. It's all up to you. And I've just barely scratched the surface. Scratched the surface. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. But I've barely scratched the surface of this game. There's all sorts of different seasons. At the different season ends, you get a bonus for doing certain things. I didn't even go over the neighbor cards, which you get a neighbor card, and if you give your neighbor one of the products on it, then they have these social tracks, right? Social rewards, you can see here. Every time you give away something to your neighbor on your right, you would get bonuses and different stuff. And a lot of those stuff you get that stuff, you go and you upgrade other stuff, or you put stuff in your manifest, or all that, and you get and then your neighbor gets that resource, and they get to use it later. So it's like you're giving it away, and then there's also a social bonus at the end. So if you're doing really well in sharing with your neighbors, then you're going to get a bonus in the score at the end, and you just add up at the end what's in your manifest, your different badges, your different neighbor bonuses, all that. Whoever has the most points wins, and that's the magic of this game. It's you get so much freedom to do whatever you want, and then it's all up to you in the end, and how you want to play, and how many points you get, and how many lucky geode hits you get when you're mining, and you get all sorts of extra cool stuff, or you know, sometimes you'll just explore a whole new area in a different game, and you'll be able to say that, oh, this game, I wasn't into farming in the first game, but I went all in on farming, and it was so much fun. So it's really a game with lots and lots of options, and the nice thing is that everybody plays at the same time, so you're not just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And they've even got the apps. You can play with your friend online. You can say both of them, you know, you could have a set, your friends could have a set, you could have a 10-player game based on 2 different sets and have everybody playing at the same time. So I have to say, you got to check this out. It's in Kickstarter as of probably right now, because I think I'm going to put this video online when the Kickstarter hits. So
October 29th.
October 29th is the Kickstarter date. So and that would be, well, it's in the future for me now, but it's not going to be in the future for you, because it's going to be out on the 29th, and you're going to go over there and Kickstart it. I'm going to have the link down below. I can't say enough about this game. It's so unique. I mean, Ivy Studio always brings something new to the table, but this really, really had me going, huh? What? Whoa, what? And it might take it might seem a little daunting, because there's so much stuff, but once you realize that the little actions that you do, you have so much choice that you get to play your own personal style, and really it's a lot of fun. So I gotta shut up, so you can go down there and you can hit the Kickstart below, and you can go play, eventually tend, go get it as soon as you can, because it's a whole lot of fun. And I'm gonna go play some more 10. So until next time, Misfits, game on. Thank you.